What's going on, bro? Today, I think I got a dope topic. Let's talk about poop, puppy poop, adult poop, all kinds of poop. You know,
Ew, ew.
let's cover all that stuff and you know uh, what they need to know about dog poop. I mean, I can't even tell you how many different variations and colors of poop there is when you're dealing with whether it's newborn puppies, adult dogs, and they all mean different things. So maybe we can talk about some of those different colors of poop and what they mean, because some of them are very detrimental and then some of them aren't so bad. So we
We
can
can
start.
start with the very first one. I'll do the first one.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it wrong, and somebody's gonna be, "Oh, you said it wrong." One, I'm not a veterinarian, so if
Oh
I
yeah,
say
we're
this
not your
wrong,
vets. We're not
if
your
I say
vets.
this shit wrong, don't be coming for me.
Yeah.
Meconium,
Oh, meconium, something like that.
meconium.
First poop.
It
Yep.
is the very first doo. It's usually pretty tar-like. It's black. It's pretty solid. Um, So for us, what we do here is C-section normally. When puppies are coming through the birth canal, when they're being squeezed out of the birth canal, it naturally sometimes happens by itself. That squeeze pushes it out. But if you did a C-section, we do basically a baby enema. We just put a warm soapy water up
Regardless.
yeah, right up the rectum. And I don't be looking at the puppy when because that's coming out like a rocket. You know what I mean? I tell people to hold it like this and kind of like poof, because it's gonna shoot out, or upside down. Hold it up and do it.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Yeah.
shoot it out. I've done it. I've showed people how to do it. And once that comes out, and now the if you don't get it out and it gets stuck, they'll get bound up. They'll get dehydrated because they can't get it out. So it leads to death. It's one of fading puppy syndrome things. You know what I mean? It's one of the checklists for the fading puppy to make sure the dog is defecating.
No, that makes a lot of sense. With the whole poop thing, like especially with the meconium, I never done that as far as the enema. When they first, when they have the first stool, it makes a ton of sense though. I'll probably start implementing that with my next litter.
You'll be surprised. I mean, promise you, bro. I don't care if I'm up in your litter, my litter, or the next door neighbor's litter. I promise you, boof, it come right out. And you'll notice that the dog has got because it leads into, digestion leads into a lot of issues, crying, upset stomachs, sour stomachs, so, just think about it when if you ever been bound up, shit hurts, man. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
it's the same thing they do to a human. They give them an enema or they give them stool softeners. It's a newborn puppy. We can't give it a stool softener. I mean, I guess you could give it a little bit of carob syrup on their tongue and stuff like that. But I just shoot warm soapy water up their rectum. Done. Next.
For the enema though, I will say mineral oil works really, really good too.
Yeah, make sure it's warm, not hot. It is going inside their body. I've had people say, "How hot? How hot you want it to go in you?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, like I said, the mineral oil works good too. I'm gonna try that and see, so
And
every
there's an,
time, you know,
and there's not a certain dose because people are gonna be on here. What dose? There isn't a dose.
yeah,
If you have a puppy that's this big, obviously you're not gonna use 12 cc's, guys. Use your damn brain. You
yeah,
know, my puppies are bigger than your puppies, so we use 3 cc's, but my puppies are like a pound when they're born.
yeah, and I like to for me, I rather like give less, and then if I don't see the dog like kind of push it out, I'll give a little bit more, and
Yeah, well, the other side effect to an enema, you can't always do it because I know as a breeder, listen, we get a little lazy. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. We're feeding. Instead of wiping and getting to use the bathroom, stimulating by yourself. Hey man, Chris showed me this trick. Boop, done. I mean, it uses the bathroom like that. So you can't do that because they have to learn to use their sphincter muscle. I think it's the word. They
yeah,
have to use that muscle in their butthole. And if you're doing it that way, they're not using that muscle. So you can't always do it. You can only do it once in a blue moon when you necessarily need it. And I believe when they're first born, I always use it.
A buddy of mine that he did that where he got carried away with the enemas, and then like exactly what you said, that muscle wasn't getting exercised, so then the dog couldn't poop on its own. So
Yeah.
he's talking about a dog that was like a little bit older now, like a few, weeks older, and like wasn't.
Looking for that pressure to release it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
So
yeah,
that's black poop. I don't know if it's black. It looks black to me, guys. I
it's
don't
like a
know.
tar. It's like a
Yeah,
tar.
tar. I mean, tar's black, ain't it? So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's dark. I don't know if it's brown. I mean, I've never
Yeah.
gotten personal with it. It looks black, so we're gonna say it's black.
One thing I will say while we're on the topic of like the newborn puppies, now that I thought I'm just thinking about it, one thing that will play a significant role that I've noticed when it comes to the changes of poops is people who get carried. And I just wanted to cover this real quick because people do it all the time. They get carried away with changing, milk and formulas. They have the puppy on the mom. They think something wrong. They put it on a formula. Then either they've run out of formula or they try a different formula because they seen it on YouTube. And like that's the easiest way to get them like constipated and their poop all jacked up.
Well,
Uh,
you can get diarrhea that way. Same thing with a newborn baby. When you have a newborn baby, when you take them to the hospital, when the baby's born in the hospital, she's sensitive to stuff. They know all that stuff. They do all that testing, and they give you an idea, milk if you're not breastfeeding. And then even if you're breastfeeding, if you're going to supplement, it's the closest thing to breast milk. And they even recommend you buy breast milk to do it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So the reason why is digestion. So, and since you're going to talk about digestion, colostrum is important for digestion, people. It seals what they consider sealing the stomach. So when you have an orphan puppy, normally they have a little bit of digestive issues. Not all the time, but it can cause digestive issues because serum, just like surfactant seals the lungs to where they can breathe oxygen. It's the same thing. Serum, not serum, I'm saying you can use serum, but colostrum is what is used to seal the stomach so they can have a healthy gut flora is what it's called.
So do you think that, and oh man, this kind of almost, I don't want to get off topic because this is almost another episode that we could talk about, but screw it, we're on the podcast. So do you feel like the colostrum, it's not so much that it's giving antibodies, but it's more so coating the stomach?
It's both.
It's doing both. So now that leads me to the serum, right? Where we talk about puppy plasma, where you can give plasma to the puppies orally for like the first, I think it's like 48 hours or something like that. Do you
I don't
feel
know what the textbook says. I know that you don't plasma,
but what I'm
and
just saying,
serum. You can use serum.
well, what I'm just asking is, so that method, right? Does that only, because I remember you talking about that, does that only coat the stomach, or do you feel like it also gives antibodies as well, like colostrum?
So there's articles that say that it does both. It's not as potent as the colostrum straight from the mother, but it does provide some type of antibodies. We'll just say a scale of 1 to 10, colostrum gives a 10.
Yeah.
Milk from a can that we're going to have to make because, say, mom passed away on the table during a C-section, or she died giving birth, whatever happened to her, or you found a puppy, whatever. Yeah. So that is a 0. We'll say that serum gives them a 2 or a 3. It's better than a 0.
Yeah.
So, and that's what they found. There was a study on it actually, and they said that they use plasma, they use serum, they use fake colostrum, and then they use real colostrum from a mom. And because you can get colostrum like from, I guess, cows or something, and they dry it out. And you can use it.
I've seen that, and I was going to ask you that. What did you think of those? Because I see people, and I haven't really used it, but I've seen people who have those pastes. It's like a tube, and it says it's like colostrum on it, and they give those to the puppies, and they claim that
I mean, there's stuff called like Benebac. There's other medicines that you can use and stuff like that.
But not as good as a plasma or serum or whichever one you use.
I just use here's what I'll be honest. I'm a dog breeder. I got quite a few dogs, and serum is free. I can draw blood. I know how, and I have a centrifuge. I can go outside and draw a different dog if she wants to act like get away from me, or if you do a C-section, you can currently the dog is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's out cold. It's really easy. Hey, can we draw 12 cc's, 14 cc's and spin it down? And 14 cc's will give you about 3 cc's of serum. Take it home and just put drops on their tongue. You know, drops. I'm not telling you to tube them. I'm saying drops on their tongue. And it definitely does help. I've done it 1,000 times, and why I've had the dog get in a C-section. I mean, literally on her back, boop, hit the jugular while she's right there, and just draw 12, 14 cc's out of her.
What I do is I take usually when I'm doing the PGs, you know,
Yeah.
leading up into the puppies being born, PGs, reverse PGs, you know, any PG, I'm usually just putting the blood aside and
Yeah, you can use that same serum for eyes too. If you have
oh really?
Yeah, you can use serum in eyes. I know we're way off topic now, motherfucker, but that same serum that you can save a puppy's life, you can save an adult dog's eye with. Yeah, yeah.
So with its own plasma or with like another dog's plasma,
You can
or
use a different plasma's plasma. You know what I mean? Yeah.
that's an interesting one. I never.
I've had a dog with a blue eye, ulcerated eye. And eyes are we're way off fucking subject, but
I know, but let's
blue
keep
eye,
it going. They gonna listen. They love this. I know.
blue eye. Like if you have like an ulcerated eye, say it was a scratch from another dog, or it ran into a stick and scratched its eye. You have to be careful with eye medicine because red tops have steroid in them, and if you have a hole, or you have an issue like an actual puncture in the eye, and you put a red top in there, that motherfucker blind. You know, coming back from that. What I can tell you is, doesn't matter serum, you can't mess it up, and it's free.
So
take the dog's blood. The dog who has the blue eye, take his own blood.
So
spin it down.
It's just like it just has like healing properties for the eye.
I can look it up. You know what I mean? I've done it. I've been at the vet's office where we prescribed it even.
That's dope. That I never
and charged them. Saw the dog. Saw it had a blue eye. Yep, it got a blue eye.
Most of the time, what I use for the eye like is
Neopolydex.
Neopolydex.
You don't have to. It's, to me, fucking serum is way better, and you probably got a shit ton of
Neopolydex.
And that shit, it's like $20, $25 a bottle, maybe even more.
Wow.
And you need a script.
That was a major gem. Like, yo, if you guys didn't take anything from this episode, that was like a huge gem right then and there. Wow.
Hey, you just you can draw the own dog's medicine basically for its own. Yeah, wow. Same thing with puppies. You can draw its plasma from the mom. Obviously, you can't take plasma from a newborn. I mean, if you're that fucking good, you're good, I guess.
So would you consider using, like, you know how when puppies get neonatal conjunctivitis, like, you know,
I don't. That ain't a common thing, so I can't.
Got you.
I can't speak on it because I've never had it. I've never had it. I've seen it in cats, you know, because the wife breeds them bald cats.
Also, I've never really had it with my own puppies. It's always been like friends of mine or local breeders that they're like, oh man, I got this. Like, you know, what can I do?
And never even seen it firsthand. Never. I seen it in a cat one time, and it was just like crusty, and they just hot compressed it, and that was it. That's all she did, and it went away. We took it to the vet and everything. It was like, oh, it'd be all right. All right. But back to the poop.
Now you could use that for a puppy.
I don't know if you can do it. I don't know. I have no idea. But we can get back to poop. So we talked about black poop. Let's talk about white poop. Coccidia.
She's not what?
Coccidia.
Oh, well,
or for a rarity, E. coli. Yeah. You'll know the difference. E. coli, it is legitimately going in and out at the same time, and it looks the same.
Oh shit.
I mean, it is gross, bro. It literally looks like you're pouring milk in, and it's coming like there's the puppy's like a filtration in and out at the same time. It's horrible.
That E. coli is bad because I know firsthand a breeder, me and you know who he is. He had puppies that was like, I remember,
it's hard to fix.
Was dying.
Hard,
but yeah,
you gotta take them off the mom because more than likely it's coming from the mom.
The only way he knew that it was E. coli was because he sent a necropsy to find out, because he was like, I don't even know what this is, you know.
Normal, for the most part, chunky, greasy white stool is coccidia. That's your most common reason. Yeah, and everybody's going to ask you, what can you give? I mean, Totazerol says in the book that you can give it as early as 1 day. That's what the textbook says. You got yours with you? I don't have mine.
Have it with me, but yeah, Totazerol and
I might have another one up here. Yeah, I mean, Totazerol, I believe you can give as early as 1 day of age.
Yep.
So
and Panazol.
And you normally can smell it. Like,
you ever use that?
Walk in, it's like, whoo, something's not right.
You ever use Panazol?
Panazol, I mean, it was what we used to use. For those who are old school and know what it is, it was Marquise. The problem with Marquise is it's very, very strong and potent. So Totazerol is a little bit more safer. It is the main ingredient in it, though. Totazerol is Potazerol. You know what I mean? It's the same ingredient. Let me see. Totazerol. Oh, it doesn't say on here how early I can give it.
I've never given it that young, but I mean, I could see, you know.
Those who don't think we're telling the truth. Hold on, let me put my hand on it. There you go. Totazerol for coccidia. Boom.
There you go.
That's a cheat sheet right there. But
back in the day, what we used to use, at least for us, was like, you know,
Albon.
Yeah, Albon. You know what I'm saying? But
and they like Albon. They don't really like Totazerol. My Totazerol that I personally have compounded, it's chicken and marshmallow flavor. Weird combo. I don't know, but they don't go. You know, the stuff that you get from like Canada or Mexico, when you give it to them, they act like they're having seizures. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I prefer the one that I have. I had to pay a little bit more for it because of the flavoring, but it makes a huge difference because I don't know if you've ever seen it. I've seen puppies get upper respiratory infections from having fits from that really nasty bitter medicine. Yeah. They throw up and then they don't completely regurgitate, or I mean, throw it up and then they regurgitate and you don't see it.
Yeah.
And now it's their lungs. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah.
So the next thing for poop for me, for a puppy, the perfect poop is like a brownish, yellowish, orangish color.
I would say like
and it looks like it has little seeds in it, little dots in it.
Maybe like a caramel. Maybe like a caramel.
Oh, I don't know. It's just funny looking when you see it. You can see it. Green poop. I know people have seen green poop. Green means no good. People say green means go. Take your ass to the vet. That's what it means.
Yeah, yeah.
Normally, green means that there's an infection somewhere. Even in an adult dog, there's an infection somewhere normally, unless it ate something green. Obviously, people. Now, a new puppy didn't eat anything green. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Foamy.
And also like the texture. That's another thing too.
Yeah, as I was say, foamy. When you have really airy, foamy poop, it could be. There's a lot of different reasons for foamy poop. A lot of people think it's one particular reason. It could mean that the mom has
foamy though. What do you mean like by foamy though? Like
literally airy looking. Like you can hear it when it's not like a fart. It's like
a diarrhea kind of.
When it comes out, it sounds like that.
Okay.
You can hear it when they're pooping. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, what the hell is this? The first time you hear it, you'll know it, especially in the room when you're sitting there watching TV and you hear that air mixed with like poo. It just has a certain sound to it. And when you're looking at their backside, normally it's bubbled. It's really foamy, almost like a something like they would put on top of a coffee or something. Like, shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really foamy looking. It's really airy looking. It's not solid. It's not liquid. It's like foamy looking. It's almost like it's like a egg white whisk. It's foamy looking. It could mean one, the mom has too much fat in her milk. Two, they have an upset stomach as far as too much fat, or they have gas from the fat in their mom's milk.
And actually, that's actually actually a good one. Like one thing that we've done when we have poop that isn't as, I guess you could say more as solid as I would like to see it, you know.
Yeah.
Typically what we would just do is give some pumpkin right in the mouth. You know?
Yeah,
even very young puppies, like I'm talking about a couple days old, I would just take a little dab And yet again, I don't have an exact measurement. Just you got to just use
Common
common
sense.
sense. Yeah, you got to use common sense.
You're
Like,
not gonna kill them with pumpkin. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not telling you to shove the shit down their throat,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
but I mean, just enough to where because you don't want to kill your own puppy. Let's just be honest.
yeah. I would take like a finger, like enough that would just coat my the tip of my finger, and
I put it in a syringe. I
you
push
can
it
do
through the
that.
top and then I push it down so I can just tap it into their mouth. Yeah, a little bit of pumpkin will help with stool.
And you
Um,
said that it's also helped with the digestion as
Digestion.
well, right?
Yeah, it's fiber.
So,
You can do it for an adult dog.
yep,
You
yep,
know, if you
yeah.
have a dog that has diarrhea, you can give them pumpkin, mix it in their food. Excuse my wife. She's on the phone, probably running her with someone. I
You're
don't know.
good. My son is somewhere terrorizing
Oh,
something.
because I can hear the whole conversation.
Yeah, I got a Borble who knows what she's doing right now, so it's all good as anything goes at
So,
this point.
diarrhea in puppies is not a good thing because it could lead to dehydration.
I think that's probably one of the biggest things that it leads to is
Man, that shit's
dehydration.
loud.
Other
I don't
than
know
the,
how y'all don't hear it.
no, I don't hear. I don't hear. But I think if anything, it's one of the leading things to diarrhea. To diarrhea? I'm sorry, to dehydration. One of the leading
It
things to
is. It is.
dehydration is that diarrhea. You know.
Yeah. Some people think diarrhea can happen. There's so many reasons that diarrhea can happen. Overeating. Because there is certain puppies, I don't know if you've ever noticed, if raising litters, you have that one or two puppy that literally just stay on the tit or the boob, the teat, however you want to call it. They're just nursing for comfort. They're not nursing because they're hungry. They're just sitting there as a comfort thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not even nursing. They just basically got a boob in their mouth.
And yeah, no, 100%. And the other thing is also overeating.
Yeah. I mean,
I
the same thing happens to you. Same thing happens to an adult dog. She overeats. What goes in has to come out. And a lot of people think that, oh, this, that, and the third, as far as puppies. Some people will tell you puppies can't overeat. Bullshit. Bullshit.
I've seen it. I seen it. And one of the best things that I saw that I learned about when it came to that overeating was that little trick we were talking about where for example, if the puppy ate too much, you take the tube, the tube from the tube feeding
Tube
kit.
feeding. Oh,
And
and suck it out of the stomach.
well, I wouldn't even like I don't even suck it. What I just do is I just put the tube in. I don't have a syringe at the bottom, and it helps release the gases. And sometimes milk will come
You
out.
can overfeed. They can overfeed themselves,
Yep.
and because the overflow, if it's too much, it will start messing them up as far as breathing. Even you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, they'll naturally do it, especially if you've went. We'll just say hypothetically, we all have jobs, and say you went to work and your mom is not the greatest mom, so you found a way to where you can go to work in the morning, come home at lunchtime. So that's we'll just say a 5 hour window or 6 hour window, and you can make it work at work and get home once a day. I've been there. You know what I mean? When I was on active duty, I had to feed them in the morning because the mom was, and she was mean. She wouldn't let nobody else touch her or the pup, bro. She was bad. So I had to run home at lunchtime, feed her, get back after work, feed her. But what I noticed is I was getting diarrhea because they were eating in longer spurts in between feeding. So they were like acting like they were starving. So they were overeating.
So that actually leads me to something that I just thought of, right? So let's give them a little gem as far as like what are some of the top things that they should have when it comes to dogs with funny looking stools. They would want to have the Tazarol. They would want to have pumpkin. They would want to have.
I recommend
I still
I
think
recommend Safeguard on hand because you can
okay.
worm the mom. I worm the mom right after she's born. Right after the puppy's born, I put her on. Me personally, I put her on. I give her. This is what I personally do because you can't. It says in the book that you shouldn't use Drontal while pregnant.
Yes.
So
yes,
the minute, I mean, she gave birth on Monday. I let her rest all day Tuesday. Wednesday, she's gonna Drontal.
I think just to chime in on that, I think it's I think they can have pyrantel and fenbendazole. I think
Yes,
it's the
they cannot have praziquantel.
yes, Praziquantel. So
Too
technically
harsh on
you
the
could do
stomach.
both. Like you could do
Yeah,
pyrantel
yeah,
probably.
yeah. But I just because I'm lazy. I'm not honest. I got on the pill form. Boom, done. And then there's certain moms that don't like Safeguard, so they make a huge mess of the shit, shaking their head. And I just don't like all that. But yeah, I worm the mom. So I highly recommend. A lot of people like, oh, my mom don't got worms. Listen, people, I'm not trying to be rude. She got boobs. So they dragging on the ground in the dirt. She's cleaning them. Where do you think worms come from? Parasites come from the ground. So she's dragging them, because she's blowed out when she's about to give birth. So her boobs are dragging on the ground. And if she can, she cleans them.
I
So
think
she can be getting a parasite or a worm. So, and for me, I treat mom and I treat puppies. If I don't rush to use certain medications, some people can say, "Oh, use Metro." Can you use Metro on puppies? Yes, you can if it's a dire necessity, but I would try to push it out as far as away from date of birth as possible because it is a pretty harsh chemical, and I wouldn't exceed more than 30 mg per kg in a day.
but Metro, correct me if I'm wrong, is essentially more of like, let's just say like what we just said, right? Like Tazarol actually will like treat the coccidia, for example.
Yes, and I
But
like it because it's a one-time dose
yeah,
and you're done. Like you can give a puppy legitimately one dose of it, and it will do more good than giving it. Now obviously they do total different things. One's Giardia, one's Coccidia.
but oh, I'm sorry, not to cut you off. What I just wanted to say though, real quick, was that, but when it comes to using like a Metro, to my understanding, is more of like it's gonna just be treating like it's like more of it's gonna be more of an anti-diarrhea than like treating.
I mean, they don't have. I mean, more than likely, they don't have Giardia. They don't have Giardia. If they have anything, they have Coccidia or they have worms. I mean, it could have Giardia, but you would know if your mom has Giardia. Normally, if you want to talk about poo, it's normally got a little bit of snot and it has a blood like line in it or tinge to it, or when
Yes, yes.
it's a little bit of
And they sell
blood.
snap tests. They sell snap tests. So you can take a snap test and do the snap test of Giardia. I don't think they have it for coccidia. I think they have it for Giardia and parvo and canine coronavirus, which canine coronavirus I haven't really had much experience with. But coccidia is the only one that I think you have to do like a flotation test in order to be able to tell if the dog
Yeah,
has
but it's
coccidia.
just to me, it's cheaper to just treat the dog. And you're gonna get the people
Yep.
that come on here and roast me for that because they're gonna be like, you shouldn't use anything unless you need it. And okay, you're right. You're absolutely right. But the headache as taking the dog to the vet, doing a flotation, paying all that versus 2 or 3 days of
Yep.
Tazarol, and I'm done with it.
And also time is of the essence. I mean, with puppies, things move a lot faster than like an adult dog. An adult dog,
Well,
they'll get
the thing
skinny.
it says in the book that an adult needs 2 to 3 days, where a puppy only needs 1 to 2 days.
1 or 2 days of.
Tazarol,
Oh, no. What I'm saying is time is of the essence as far as like, a dog,
getting it
it takes
fixed.
time. It gets skinny, then it dies. Puppy, they don't get skinny, they just die. Like by the
Yeah.
time you see that puppy starts to lose weight, it's already on its way out practically. It's so much more quicker.
I
So
think we pretty much covered all the killers of poo in newborn puppies.
yeah, so I think we were just wrapping up on the fact of the different things you would want to have on standby just in case. So I think we said prednisolone.
Fluids.
Yes, IV fluids. Yeah, lactated ringers. Yeah,
Whatever you want to
lactated
call them.
ringers. Yep, you're 100% right.
I would have them with, probably a 12 cc syringe. I would have pumpkin. I would have safeguard or
I would still have
pedicure.
Albon, man. That's just me. I would still have,
Albon is safer for puppies because they like the taste, but it's
yeah.
just one of those long, drawn out things. Tazarol, I have Tazarol in hand, and
It's
I mean
something light.
you can have
Yeah.
Pyrantel on hand too, because
Yeah.
puppies can take Pyrantel as early as 2 weeks.
I think if it's something light and I'm not too concerned, but I'm just like, hey, you know what? I'm keeping an eye on this. This may get worse. Albon's usually like my first. If it's like bad, then obviously I'm gonna go with something more stronger. But yeah, I like to have Albon on hand. And then there's like you can I think like make your own Albon with
Sulfamed
yep.
and Dine.
So yeah, so it doesn't necessarily Albon is just a name brand, but
It's expensive because of all the vanilla extract in it. So if you wanted to go the safer, cheaper, I mean not safer, the cheaper route, you can look up what's called Sulfamed, and then just mix it with Dine.
yeah,
And just take the dose that you need for the dog and add as much dine as you think is necessary because that shit is bitter.
Yep, exactly. So, I mean, yeah, I think for the poop, I think we pretty much covered everything. I
Just
would,
keep an eye on your mom's stool too. You know what I mean? If
yeah,
if you think something's wrong with her, treat her as well because she's the carrier.
use
They don't go outside, so they have to be getting it from her.
and use some Drontal when she first comes into heat. Like when I'm gonna breed her, I'll hit her with some Drontal. Just try to clean her out of those parasites and stuff like that. Prior to her getting pregnant, I'll just hit her with
I
Drontal.
just did something with Drontal. I remember I was telling you, I did 3 days in a row with Drontal. I started doing that.
I actually just did that with the Borbo puppy that I got. I did the puppy Drontal for 3 days because I was like, you know what? After that conversation we had where you were
And it made
referencing,
a difference.
yeah, I think so. I think so.
I've always just done one dose and thought I was done. And then I was talking to a vet down in Texas, and he was like, because I had an issue with a dog, and he was like, I just had that same issue. And basically, there's a strand of Giardia right now that's being resistant to Metro and
And
Panicure.
Bendazole, right?
Yeah, fenbendazole together. So I did 3 days of way off topic, but 3 days of Panicure. I mean, not Panicure. 3 days of Drontal while doing simultaneously 5 days of Panicure and Metro, and they got rid of it. So,
Wow.
but I had two of them. One of them got rid of them, one that didn't. So I'm gonna try secnidazole here next.
Yeah. That Signitazole actually, like I've had experience with using it with the Giardia clear. And what's beautiful about it is it's one pill, and it's usually a one and done kind of thing. Then within like that week, it's gone. From my experience, and I even I read a study that the shelter they used Secnidazole because it was more, I guess, also
Efficient.
efficient and cost effective, and so on and
Oh,
so
it
forth.
is because think about it: one pill versus 10 pills to a complete strange dog. Like, let's be honest, I don't want to put my hand. It's a dog that don't know me 10 times. You know what I mean? Let me
Yeah,
just do it once.
exactly. The only thing with Secnidazole is, I don't think like it's as common of a drug here in the
Well,
United
in the
States.
U.S., it has to be compounded.
Okay,
Um, it is not what they would consider a USDA approved medication, like pill form. You can compound it. They compound it. Same thing with some other stuff that you can get compounded, but they won't, like Tazarol. It won't come out, but you can get it compounded from vets.
gotcha.
It's the same shit, but they just want it compounded, whatever.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, and then back to what we were just saying. I think it's worth. Hey, if you're not dealing with the situation right now, I think it's worth getting some snap tests. Hey, it can't hurt. If for the snap, I think they cost like, I don't know, 10 to 20 bucks per snap test or something like that. It might even be less. But hey, you can easily throw it on the snap test and find out if you're dealing with a parvo versus giardia situation. Because in the beginning, they can look a little similar, you know what I'm saying, in the very early stages. So and you treat them, at least for me, I treat them both completely differently. So it can't hurt to have a snap test, get you.
I, I mean, I don't have any on hand. I'd be the first to lie to you if I told you that. But I mean, I just treat what I see. That's, the thing people ask me, how do you know so much? Or how do you know so much, Angel? It's, I've been through a lot. And the only thing is I remember the last time. If not, I write everything down. If I'm not going to remember, you know, certain medications, I'll screenshot it. I'll keep it in my,
Yeah.
people ask me for certain medications. So I screenshot it. I do homework because there's some medications I've never heard of, and people ask me for them all the time. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, no, it's true. Even my like my plums book, like what I do is I read the whole thing for once. That's the cool thing. I actually took the time last year. I spent a good portion. Uh, I read the whole book and I made notes, and I have little stickies, and the stickies hang out of the book. So like if there's something I'm quickly trying to find, oh, that's that one there, and then I go open it and then I check my, what I wrote down. Anything, even if I learned something new from like you, I'll take that and write it down I'm not afraid to write in my books. I'll write in my books. And,
Yeah, that's the only way you learn, man. I
yeah,
mean, it is what it is. But all right, man, I gotta jump off because I gotta go get the kids from school.
most definitely. I gotta go check on this kid and see what the bauble tore up. So anyway, guys, what I highly recommend, what I highly suggest is drop a comment down below. Let us know what topics you guys want us to cover, because sometimes we take for granted, stuff that we know day to day, but there's some things that maybe you guys want us to cover. So drop a comment down below. Let us know what you guys want to see. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. All right, guys.
Peace.